Hey guys, and welcome to a video here. Man, the hype train is real. We are in 0.13, and today we're going to do a video here where I'm going to go over the changes here for you, kind of an overview. I'm not going to go over every single one, just the main ones, and I'm going to give you a demonstration of some of the very important ones as well, so you can see them in action. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So there is a ton of new stuff. 0.13 is probably the biggest update they've done. There's a huge list here, so let's get started actually, and we will get started by going into our main area here. So they improved multiplayer essentially. There's no more peer-to-peer. What it is now is like more of a browsing system. Here you can browse public games, play on LAN, you can connect to a server, so that is kind of still peer-to-peer, I suppose. But if you want to browse public games, it says here server games are published to the server, and clients can browse existing games, automatic discovery for LAN games. So if we browse here, you can see there is actually quite a lot of games. It shows playtime, it shows the name and the players, all different kinds here. You can set filters, if it has a password, if it has mods, Steam friends, game details. Obviously if I were to select a game like this, you can see a ping, all this great stuff. It's really nice, and then you could just join. Now if I want to sort with ones that have a password, you can see that this one actually does have a password. So if I were to join this, or here, if I were to join this, it would ask me for a password. So that's the multiplayer, and you can play on LAN as well, connect directly to a server. Now the other thing is the mod portal, which right now is actually not working properly, but I will show you kind of what that's going to be like. You have your mods here. If you had a mod, obviously I don't right now because most of them are broken, but if you did, you could check for updates for the mod. You could actually update it, like tell it to update, or you can just go to install mods, and this will bring you to our the mod portal here, and this will show you all these mods. You can arrange them by name. You can set again filters if you want. You can search, so say we search for big, you can see that this one is now the only one showing up. Yeah, it shows when it was updated, the version, download count, which is really cool. So instead of having to go on the forums and search, all manually, this is a new system. It's really awesome. It's going to be great. Okay, so we do have that. Those are the main things outside of actual gameplay, I believe. Again, you can play with Steam friends now. Just back in the multiplayer here really quick. If you just do Steam friends in game, you could select this. So if I say yes, obviously none of my friends are hosting games, but if they were, they would be there. Let's load back up our map here and start in with the actual changes. You can probably see the train graphics are updated. We'll get to that in a minute, but I'm just going to go down the list here. Achievements and Steam achievements integration. So we have achievements as well as several other buttons up here. Let's start with the achievements. You can click it up here, enabled, or earned 1 of 38, 2%. So I somehow got killed by a moving locomotive. I guess that's taking it from one of my previous saves before 0.13, because I didn't get run over yet in this save. But here you go. It says, what you need. So if we smoke me a kipper, I'll be back for breakfast. Finish the game. Research all technologies. Produce 1 million electronic circuits. Produce 10 million electronic circuits. Produce more than 10 gigajoules energy per hour without the usage of steam engines. So on and so forth. There's ones where you can't use lasers. You can't use solar. You can't use logistics network. Finish the game in 8 hours. Finish the game in 15 hours. Yeah, so achievements, very cool. Definitely some new stuff to kind of, head toward, and some different avenues to go down. We now have a rail planner tool. This has replaced the old way of building rails. Okay, So how does this work? Well, let's start. All this here I've built most of this with the rail planner. It takes a little bit of getting used to. Now you can still build kind of like normal, right? Although there are no curved pieces. That is something important to note. There's no curved pieces anymore. So I can build like normal, like so. But you see this green arrow here. So if I take, let's pull this back a little bit. This determines the direction I want to build. So let's say I want to build here. If I just click once, we now have the rail planner. And I'm not clicking, I'm just moving my mouse and the mouse pointer. And I want to go here, 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 here. We want to loop back around and come here. And then we want to come back this way. And it automatically paths it for you. Now, if we had arranged this a little better, we could have connected back up. So there's that. Okay, now it's only going to go so far out. It's only several rail pieces out when you do it that way. However, this is actually a ghost print. They changed how ghost prints look. They're a lot easier to see now, which is really great. And you do this like you normally would, is you hold down Shift when you go to do this. So let's drag out another rail here. Okay, so you place one down, and then you hold Shift and click. And this is going to allow you to ghost place. And this lets you do however much length you want. And it's going to try to just find the best path to where you want to go. So, you know, if I want to come like, now of course, and the trees, it's like, you know, marking them to be deconstructed. So let's say we want a station here, we can do that, and there you go. It's now placed a ghost thing. So if you had a personal roboport, they would go ahead and do that. And it takes a little bit getting used to. It's a little harder, like, I can imagine it's going to be quite difficult actually to do junctions, because there's no curve pieces, so you have to like kind of rely on the rail thing, the planner, to actually figure out what you want to do here. Like I tried to build a little thing here and it didn't really work out. It will be kind of difficult. You can see there's actually a tip here. You just build straight rails manually or through the rail planner. The rail planner can build short paths directly using left mouse button, or long ghost paths using Shift plus left mouse button. So I can't imagine that junctions might be a little bit difficult. So like if we want this to connect back up, we could. I mean, you'll get used to it. Okay, so there's that. One thing we will go over since we're talking about trains is signals. This will now tell you every place you can place a signal. That was a little repetitive, but oh well. So this shows you everywhere you can place a signal, which is extremely handy because now you know, well, I can place it in one of these 3 locations, you know, and it's just really nice, and this makes it easier to see if you mess something up. So here, I can place in all of these different locations if I want. Place one there, place one there, and you see it actually gets rid of it and puts a white thing here to indicate that there's like needs to be maybe one on this side if you want a 2-way system. And there you go. So that's really, really nice. Added fire. Fire will spread between trees and cause forest fires, causing a large amount of pollution to be released. So fire spread is now a thing. Let's start with our flamethrower. Fire graphics looks quite nice too. You will get burned again, so be careful. Now these trees aren't particularly dense, so it may not spread. It will create a little bit of pollution. You can see here it's creating some pollution. If we turn on our debug menu, you can actually see how much. And that's just from the forest burning, and that's just a little bit. Imagine if you set this entire forest on fire. So you do want to be careful of that, but it is a nice way to clear a forest if it's dense enough. You can see this didn't really spread too well because it wasn't dense enough, but I can imagine, say, here, this may burn down a lot of this forest. So that is super cool. Alright, so that thing will probably spread. Next we have the power switch. It can be used to control energy flow, and it can be connected to the circuit network. So here's an example. We have our solar panels producing energy. Right now we have 2 little separate networks here, electric networks. So we have one here where the energy is being produced and one here. Now normally, if you wanted to, say, have only, like, toggle this on and off, you might have to do something crazy with combinators. But now you can have the power switch turn on automatically with the circuit network. Now I'm not an expert with the circuit network, so I'm not one to be showing you that. But you can do it manually as well. We have our power switch. If we click on it, we can manually turn it on or off. You can see now it's on, now it's off. Circuit network, nothing's connected. Logistics network, we actually are in the logistics network, so if we wanted to connect it, we could connect it and actually enable some type of condition here. We're not going to do that. We're going to just show a manual version. So how does this work? Well, what you need to do is actually connect your power poles to it. Now you can see that these actually overlap. They're not connected to each other, so you want to make sure these aren't connected. And by the way, to disconnect a pole, you just shift left click and it will disconnect all stuff connected. So we drag a copper wire here, and then we drag a copper wire here. Okay, this is off, and these don't have energy. You turn it on, or not. I've accidentally, oh dear, there we go. I've turned it on, and these now have power. So that is a manual way to do it. On, off, so on and so forth. Or you can connect it to the logistics or circuit network and change it that way, which is super nice. Added the stack inserter. Okay, so this is a brand new type of inserter. The filter inserter is essentially what the smart inserter used to be, except it's, well, it's essentially what the smart inserter used to be. You can filter it, you can connect it to circuit and logistics network as normal. And then we have a stack inserter, which is actually using the smart inserter graphic. That confused me for a minute. But we have that, and we have a stack filter inserter. So our normal stack inserter, you can't set a filter on. And then obviously this one, you could. It can only filter one thing though. Okay, so we have our stack inserter here. These things, with full stack size bonus, which we do have unlocked, we have all tech unlocked. With a full stack size bonus, they can grab 12 items at a time. And not only that, they can utilize the stack size bonus, putting onto belts and taking off of belts, which is something you never used to be able to do. Obviously, they still get it from a container to a container, but if we go ahead and power this on, you will see this guy will grab 12 of these at once, stick them on here, and then this other one will grab 12 off of here and stick it in here. And this is pretty awesome. There you go. And it's fully compressed, as you can see, which is also a very cool feature. This guy's going to grab all 12, stick them in, all 12, stick them in, so on and so forth. Now, if we wanted to, say, have something else, like a fast inserter, it can also use its stack size bonus on belts, right? But it only goes up to 3. You can see here we're going up by 3s. Okay, so it also can utilize it on a belt. But all other inserters except the stack inserter will only move 3 things at a time, even from one container to another, and even with max stack size bonus. So essentially these are like super powered inserters, which perhaps you might want to use on a train, which would be like super beastly. So there you go, new inserters, very, very cool. Now, for filter inserters, just to kind of demonstrate this really quick, we have speed modules here. I'll just use another filter inserter to get these off of here. You need to set the filter, otherwise it won't grab anything. I've connected it to logistics network, so you have to tell it to connect, and then I've just told it work if there is less than 10 speed modules. There's not, so it's not working. If I take these out, it'll do its thing, and there you go. Okay. Now, one thing, though, to note is this can, you can maybe not be quite as specific as you used to be, because you can see I set it to 10, but since this is using its full stack size bonus of 3, it actually put up to 12 in here, which, I mean, isn't a huge deal, but just a quick note there. The RoboPorts can now be connected to circuit networks. Obviously, I have nothing here, but say I were to take a combinator, and you can see things actually have little connection points here. You can read statistics, read logistics, network content, so on and so forth. While we're over here, we can go to something else. Belts can now be connected to the logistics or circuit network, which is really, really awesome. You can turn them on and off if you want based on a condition. So let's say we want to connect this to the logistics network. You can see it now gets a little thing here, and I'm going to tell it that you can only work if there's less than 10 speed modules. And you can see this belt has now stopped. And just to demonstrate that, this belt no longer works. If I take these out, it will. Is that awesome or what? And you can obviously connect it to a circuit network as well. Okay, so there we go. There's some main features. Again, I won't go over all of them because we still have quite a bit to go over. Bonus GUI. So this is this thing up here. Our bonuses right here. Now, again, I have all tech unlocked, but this will show you all your bonuses. Your movement speed, your cargo for your logistics robots, your damage upgrades and stuff for all this. Your damage for lasers, for grenades, for fire, stack size, stack insert capacity bonus 11. You can see this is now, it only works for these two. And it says 11 and we're moving 12. That's just because it moves one, obviously, to begin with. So there's that. Now we do have these other buttons. You can access the menu here. You can also access it with escape. Production statistics, you can access here. You can access your map, your trains, or your achievements. Trains will now show all your trains, essentially. Now I only have the one, but it will show a little map, and you can zoom in and out. Let's see, what else? Flamethrower. Okay, train station window contains a list of all trains. Each can be opened that have the station on their schedule. So, this station. We only have one train with this station on the schedule. However, if we were to have, say, 2 trains now, or 3 trains with this on their schedule, and you can set conditions, which I'll go over here in a second. You can see, now that we click on this, it's going to show 3 trains. You can click on each one, and it will actually take you to the thing where you can edit it, which is really, really nice. Single train GUI now has an additional panel which shows the minimap camera of the given train, which of course we can see here. Here's the map. We can switch to the camera, which shows where it is, which is really cool. And obviously this would work if I were, halfway across the map as well. So it's kind of like a built-in fat controller mod. There's a search function up here. We can search stuff. Let's just say we want to search chest. It'll show us all chests. Obviously you can do partial, like substation, submachine gun, so on and so forth. And then again we have our trains. Again, there's only one. If we had multiples, it would just show all of them. Now we have our train weight conditions, and these are extremely cool. So this guy, we have our station selected here, and you can add a station. One thing different though that did confuse me for a second or two, this will not actually show you all your stations available. You have to click add station, and then it will show you all the stations. Okay. You can remove it, tell it to go to station. So we have this selected when we're on manual right now. If we switch to automatic, it'll follow, its protocol and move on. So for this station, we set just a time thing, like it used to be. So after 10 seconds, it's going to leave. On our other station up here, which is vertical 1, I've set an inactivity condition. So if nothing happens after 5 seconds, it leaves. I could scrap this if I wanted. I could add something else. We can wait for the inventory to be full, the inventory to be empty, an item count, a circuit condition, time passed, or an inactivity. So let's wait for an item count. And this will probably do whichever one comes first, like whichever condition's met first. So let's just say, right, so you can actually set this and or. So you can say 5 seconds of inactivity or cargo condition, and then, or you can say and cargo condition. So we'll go with and we'll just say If there's less than, or sorry, I want more than, if there's more than, say, 400 plates, because we're loading plates up here, by the way. Okay, so we have that. And now, actually, let's go ahead and replace these guys with these. Once we come back here to unload, we'll actually be able to see them in action. The train car graphics have changed, as well as the locomotives, obviously. And another cool thing is these are open, you can see. Once this thing pulls out and is not in a station anymore, these will close, which is pretty damn awesome. You can change locomotive colors. We go over here, cargo, where you can put in the fuel. You can change the color, like, specifically to what you want. So I can adjust it, I can fine tune it down to pretty much exactly the color I would want. Let's just go like, you know, I want kind of a color like that. I mean, you can just adjust it to anything you want, which is really, really cool. Another cool feature is if you mouse over a station, it'll show you the spacing. So before, you know, you would have to you would have to set a train down to actually get your spacing right and stuff. Well, now if you mouse over a station, those little white boxes show you exactly where everything's going to line up. So you can set up your stations without having to put a train down. Another major change is that the stations are now the same vertical and horizontal. So before, if we were to set up a station kind of like this, vertical, before this patch, it would not line up correctly. But now, trains will line up correctly, both vertical and horizontal. Now this thing is off a little bit because I actually set this up before I updated and I had miscalculated. But the same thing still pretty much applies here. So the length is now the same. Let's just throw some of these in here. Okay. Let's see, what else? There's new technology tree. So this, you have your main technology thing over here where you can select them, right? But it will also show you every, like, the path to get there and what comes after it. So if we go to, say, automation 2, you can see that we need to get automation and electronics before we can get this. And there's a scroll bar, obviously, over here. And then this will show you everything we can get from automation 2 and all the other paths to get there. So say we wanted logistics robots. We have to get these things before we can even get there, which is really cool. And if you mouse over it, you can see it's now highlighting the lines that are actually required and the other text. And you can see this actually wouldn't qualify. You can see we actually need to get this, then these two, so on and so forth. So very, very cool here that you can do. Stack size bonus obviously applies mostly to the other things. New science pack graphics actually as well. Let's see, what else? Flamethrower turret. We now have a flamethrower turret, which is awesome. We have this guy over here. It can burn heavy oil, light oil, or crude oil. It burns it at a rate of 0.12 per second. You can see there on the right, fuel consumption. Damage over time, 8 seconds. Damage 45 plus 172 second fire. Area of effect size, and then damage. And you can see this turret, along with all other turrets, will now display a range. You can see this thing will shoot here. One weakness would obviously be it can't shoot stuff directly in front of it. But if we take another turret, say a laser turret, you can see it also displays a range, which is really, really neat. Super, super helpful. And just to demonstrate, a gun turret as well will display it. Let's see, what else do we have here? Blueprints can now be edited. So let's actually start. We now have a blueprint book. Instead of having your inventory all crowded, we can open this by right-clicking on it. We can now stick blueprints in here. And we can actually have an active blueprint, apparently. And if we just click the blueprint book, we can now, I just blueprinted random stuff for this, but that's how you can do that. So instead of having to take each one out, which you can do, by the way, you could just set an active blueprint and use this thing. Blueprints themselves can be edited. If you right-click a blueprint, you can either clear the blueprint, cancel blueprint, edit. You can change the icon. You can actually change stuff within it. So if I right-click this, this will no longer place this chest. If I want it back, I just click the ghost and it will place it again. I can edit the label, and there's also options. If we just throw down some assemblers here, blueprints will now copy over modules, which is extremely cool. Include modules. You can uncheck that or check it, and you can also edit that, obviously, if you want to go back and edit it. On top of that, you can also include concrete. If we take a blueprint here, include entities, include tiles. If I don't include entities, we can just do the concrete, or we can do all of it, and there we go. And we'll just open this guy up, stick it in there, and very, very easy, makes it a lot less cluttered. Now, I don't think I can actually quick put it in there, but there you go. So you have that. Map generator algorithm is changed. Essentially, it makes it a little more like RSO mod. Further resource fields now have greater richness, so the farther out you get, the more resources you're going to find in terms of richness of the resource. Landfill is now added to the game. You can make landfill from 20 stone, and you can now fill in water without having to use a mod. If I can actually walk over here, you can see we can now fill in water, which is freaking awesome. Like if you spawn on some type of island, you can just landfill your way, of course if you had stone, but you know, a decent sized island maybe. We now have yellow and black striped concrete, which can also be rotated. You can see we can rotate it with R. Again, we can increase the size of it with the plus and minus keys. So this is like caution concrete. If I want to put it maybe under train tracks or something, or in a train station, very, very neat. So that's really great. Armors now increase your inventory size. I have modular armor here. If you look at my inventory, you can see it goes down by 10. Now, if we put in power armor, it'll go up by 20. If we put in power armor Mark II, we will have yet another 10. So modular armor and power armor Mark II now increase your inventory size. The lamp can change its color based on circuit network. You know, there's tons and tons of changes. I'm almost done here with all the major ones. There's a ton of other ones. You can read the changelog. I'll link to it in the description, by the way. Let's see. Request or test requested items can be set automatically from the circuit network. Inserters can now send the item held in hand to the circuit network. Filter inserters can have their filters set automatically from the circuit network. A lot of circuit network changes. Most things can be connected to the circuit network now. Even like a normal chest, if you wanted, could probably be connected here. You can see, and it just gets a little cool icon here that shows it's connected, instead of having to use a smart or logistics chest for that. Ease of use. Turrets display range. Rail signal indicator of train. It is possible to change the module in the slot to different one without having to clear it first. Okay, so this will allow us to change modules without having to take others out first, right? So let's just fill this guy with level 1 of those. Let's say we want some efficiency modules. It might help if I actually set a recipe, but maybe not. Let me see if I actually read that right. Not quite sure. There are some bugs. Like a bug right as of this video is renaming train stations doesn't work because if I click here to name it, it actually closes the window. They have fixed that for the newest update, which will probably come out tomorrow or even later today. I may just be an idiot, or this may be a bug, or I'm just misunderstanding what it does. Or maybe it's just a slot. Yeah, there we go. So we can replace it like that. I still don't think we can quick replace it, like without opening the GUI, but that's still quite nice. Okay, you can upgrade modules to faster versions of the same type through fast doing it here like that. Let's see. Your request things here, if you highlight over it, it'll actually show, like if you mouse over it, it'll highlight in your inventory the same item you can see here, so you can actually see how many you have of that. And actually, as you can see there, I just clicked this, and it clicking on a warning icon or whatever will bring me to that place in the map, which is really, really nice, because before you had to like open your map and zoom out and try to find it. You can just click on your warning now, it'll bring you there. It's possible to move the map by clicking and dragging. Again, kind of a little change. Inventory filter slots can be copy-pasted from empty slots onto empty slots using the stack transfer split controls. Okay, so like if I want a filter here, I can... Okay, if I shift right click this one, I can shift left click this one to copy filters. So there's that. That's in your inventory. I don't know that that works in train wagons or not. Stone rock can now be mined and deconstructed by robots. It gives stone resource. I know I saw a rock around here somewhere. So you know those big stone rocks you used to have to shoot that would like drive Madzuri crazy, like these guys. You can actually now get materials from them and mine them. So if we just go down here to test this, I want to see how much materials they get. I think we're almost done here. Yeah, there we go. So we can now mine these dudes. It does take quite a while, and we get 20 stone. Let's see. Productivity module pollution addition was lowered from 30% to 5%, 40% to 7.5%, and 50% to 10%. As the pollution generated by the machine is already increased by the additional energy production and time. So essentially the pollution that the modules directly increased has been lowered on productivity modules. Repair packs have double durability, and the stack size is increased. Change stack size for raw wood from 50 to 100. Roboport transmission power decreased. You know, kind of just a lot of different changes. You can read the changelog. I think this video has probably gone on enough here. Let's just look through our menus here really quick. You can actually enable cheat mode too with a command. If we go up here on this command, game.player.cheat_mode equals true, and you would have to put a \c in front and then do that. And that will enable cheat mode, which is how I can just get infinite of these resources. And yeah, let's see here. So we have our power switch, some new car and tank graphics, like icons, I should say. The actual graphics haven't changed. Let's see here, what else? Our blueprint book, obviously. And just to see here, our stack filter inserter. This seems far cheap. Oh no, it requires a stack inserter. So this is actually pretty expensive. 15 circuits, 1 advanced circuit, 15 gear wheels, and a fast inserter. And it takes quite a large amount of power compared to these other guys. Also, if you mouse over something, it'll show you who placed it. You can see they're built by Xterminator. So that's a really cool feature. New icons for the low density structure, rocket fuel, rocket control unit, and satellite. Oh right, we have these new grenades. We have these cluster grenades, which is super cool. So if we take a normal grenade, you can see here, and you can see this burnt a lot of this forest actually. Anyway, if we take these grenades, you can see kind of what that does. Our cluster grenade, area of effect size 6.5, clusters 7. So you see how that clusters out? And you also have grenade damage upgrades as well. You can see here damage plus 100%. Let's see, inserters are able to squeeze things slightly better to belts. So inserters can compress belts better, essentially. Oil yield drains 10% 2 times slower. So oil wells, when they get down to 0.1, it gets down there twice as slow, right? So It takes twice as long to get down there. Reduced number of connections drawn between roboports and blueprint and roboports on map, which is good because that used to cause lag if you had a whole ton of roboports. I'm going to aggro some biters here so I can show you this flame turret and hopefully not die on my way. Ghosts are brighter and easier to see, as you can tell. Alert of destroyed entities exists 2 times longer. Oh man, look at that. That's so cool. These things get wrecked, man. Just like shooting napalm out. And obviously you can see it doesn't shoot stuff in front of it. So that is a little bit of a weakness. But you could stagger them if you wanted, but do be careful because it will burn buildings. We've created a little forest fire here. So there you go, guys. I believe that's the main stuff. I'm trying to see if I missed anything important. Combinator, constant combinator has an on-off switch. Several non-stackable items can be swapped directly with counterparts. Power armor, destruction, deconstruction planners, selection tools. Oh yeah, Combinator's input and output arrows in alt mode. This is actually really nice because before it was kind of hard to tell which was the input and output of Combinators. With advanced info on, which you turn on and off by hitting alt, you can actually now see, well, that one's kind of obvious, but this one, you can actually see which one's the input and output now, which is really, really nice. Makes it a lot easier. This actually increases your running speed as well. I believe the same as concrete. And it just takes 10 concrete to make. And oh yeah, let's go ahead and test this really quick, and then we will call it. I know this has been a pretty long video, but man, there were a lot of changes, guys. This is a really huge update. So many different things have changed. It's pretty ridiculous. Okay, so this guy's gonna wait 10 seconds theoretically and then leave. Let's see what else here. You know, some names of stuff were changed a little bit. You can see this guy's leaving, and you can see the trains have now closed, or the wagons, and they will open again once we stop. And they will insert here. Once this hits 400, it should probably leave again, or not. Maybe that's okay. Maybe not. 5 seconds of inactivity. Oh, I said and, right? So there is no. Since I said and, it was also waiting for 5 seconds of inactivity. So let's check out these stack size bonuses, man. You're going to see this thing unloads like... Look how fast that unloads. Man. I mean, that's crazy. Cargo wagon size was actually increased slightly as well. I think from... It had an extra 10 spaces. So with these stack inserters, you were going to unload trains crazy fast. And you can see that this guy left instantly because there was already more than 400 in here, which is really nice. All these conditions are just super cool. Let's change this to manual. But there you go, guys. I think that is most of the stuff. Clicking different filtered slot and quick bar will try to clear the currently selected quick bar item if possible. Oh, and also now these are cleared with the same key you used to set them. So middle mouse button, you can set it. You also clear it with that. Before it was like a combination of like shift and middle mouse button or something that made it kind of confusing. Let's see here. And then some graphics. Health bars are partially visible when obstructed. High resolution in-game indicators. New fire graphics for stone furnace, steel furnace, and boiler. So if we just check that out here really quick. Let's just stick some wood in here and some of that. You can see this is now what these look like, which is really cool. Some optimization, some bug fixes, new icons for rocket fuel. We already went, and the other stuff went over that. Entity, so a circuit connector. When connected, we went over that. Added linear filtering for GUI icons. This can be disabled in graphics options. New combinator graphics, which you probably noticed. Yeah, oh, and health bars now display like a different color too based on their health. So this is green. If I like Is this really immune to fire right now? Fire turret is immune to fire. Well, that wasn't. You can see that this gets, and it's actually burning. The health bar will turn orange and then red. Maybe it always did that. I thought I read that somewhere. Interesting. So this doesn't get hurt. It has quite a large amount of health as well. And there you go. There are some more options in the graphics menu. We can show pollution. We can show turret radius when blueprinting, which would actually be really nice. We can show pollution on map. We can turn off pollution altogether pretty much by unchecking both of these. There's quite a few new options. Again, some optimizations. I think that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, if I missed anything important, please post down in the comments. I'm going to be doing a ton more videos this week. Maybe a little more detailed tutorial on this train, rail placing, and maybe train setting conditions and all that stuff. I believe that's it for now, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Hope this was helpful. Hope you enjoyed. And man, I hope you're excited as I am for this, testing out all this update stuff. It is amazing. But until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and take care.